Okay, so for today's podcast, we have Karan here, who is my good friend from college, and he has some interesting things that he has done during the lockdown. So Karan, what's up, man? How are you?
I'm good. So, yeah, I mean, this corona has actually been a two-way ride for a lot of people. Some people have, they've had a good experience. Some people have a bad experience. Some people have had mixed experiences. But
Mm-hmm.
I will probably categorize this as a good experience, or at least I've turned it around to be a good experience.
You're like the very few who
Mm-hmm.
says the lockdown has affected them in a positive way. As far
Yeah.
as I've seen and as far as I know, for
Mm-hmm.
everyone, the lockdown was a hell.
True, true. Yeah.
So, you putting that thing out, I was like, yeah, there's finally somebody saying they've done
Mm-hmm.
something useful.
Yeah.
So, let's get right into it. So, Harikaran, you've done a lot of shit during the lockdown, and all of them were fucking amazing. It's not that one was good and one was not. All of
Yeah.
them were. So,
Yeah.
talk to me about your body fat percentage. 12%, how?
Okay. So, actually, I think I'll start off with when I started working out.
Mm-hmm.
So I've probably started working out maybe about a year and a half ago during the starting of second year of college.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm more of a morning person. I've always been a morning person.
Mm-hmm.
And so because I think going to the gym in the morning, actually you kind of develop a routine rather than going in the evening. I feel like evenings are like there's always something that might come up and then the routine just breaks and then you might just feel lazy
It's like the
for the
first
next.
thing you do in the morning. So you
Yeah,
have no
exactly.
excuse.
Right, exactly. And so I've always wanted a partner, like a gym partner to go
Mm-hmm.
with, and that's never been the case because like at least then my friends weren't like they'd be like okay I'll be coming, and then morning like when I try to call them they just don't wake up. So then even I become lazy. So I was like influenced by people like in that way.
Uh-huh.
So that's how it was, and and I also didn't really care about nutrition much. Like
Okay.
I used to take a lot of protein and all of that, but then like optimal results. I was working out a lot. I was taking a lot of protein, but then I was kind of gaining fat and muscle at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
So my body fat percentage was like was just
Up and
still
down.
yeah, up and down exactly. So in the lockdown, uh, okay, I think I should I'll probably go through my whole the last 7 months in
Mm-hmm.
orderly fashion. I think that would be easier for me to explain everything.
Mm-hmm.
So what happened? Our university exams ended around like March, the first week of March, right?
Okay.
And unis, medical unis especially, are a real pain in the ass, especially second year. It's a 1.5 year.
Okay.
So and it's the whole portion, whatever you learned in the year and a half.
Mm-hmm.
So it was very stressful. We finally finished it, and so me and a couple of guys, we went to Bapatla. We had
Okay.
a road trip to
Mm-hmm.
Bapatla right from college, and because
This
college was only
was
starting.
before
This
COVID
was
spread.
March, exactly. This was before the lockdown.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
So we it was around March 11th ish,
Mm-hmm.
and college was gonna start again after a week on March 17th, I guess. So we drove to Bapatla. We stayed there for about 2 days.
Mm-hmm.
And then my mom, Bapatla's in Andhra, right? So it's easier to come back to Hyderabad. So my mom's
Mm-hmm.
like, just grab a bus from Bapatla. You can spend some time in Hyderabad and you can go back for college. So I went straight from Bapatla to Hyderabad.
Mm-hmm.
And then they suddenly announced lockdown and I haven't gone back since. And it was kind of downhill from there. So in March, I my grandfather got admitted in the hospital. Okay,
Okay.
yeah, and it was kind of like it wasn't due to COVID, but it was due to like another underlying condition that he had.
Mm-hmm.
And then what happened? He passed away in May.
Okay.
So these 3 months were kind of like I was just like chilling because like I just finished second year and then let's just have some fun. And we got an extended break. I was like, okay, shit, you never get these kinds of breaks in medicine, especially. So, and then
I can vouch. I can vouch
Mm-hmm.
for him. I've seen the amount of energy he puts in for
Mm.
medical.
Yeah, yeah. So, okay, so my grandfather, he was actually very, very close. I think this is where the transformation, like my complete mindset completely changed. It was probably because of my grandfather who
Mm-hmm.
passing away and all.
How
He
do you
was,
mean?
yeah, I'll tell you. So he was basically, he was like a legend. He was like a pillar to the family. So he was like all my memories with this man were always, it was always happy. And
Mm-hmm.
like he's never shouted at me, I've never shouted at him. And he was all like, and then he had three daughters, only daughters, so there was no sons to support him, especially in those days. Like you really needed a son to actually support the family.
Mm-hmm.
So he supported his five brothers. He made his three daughters successful. And he never stopped. He was like a hustler basically. He never stopped.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, even like on the deathbed, 1 week before he passed away, he knew he was passing away, which is actually freaking insane, because he wrote Chivari Atma Palukulu on a paper, and
Okay.
he wrote a couple of sentences about his daughters.
Wow.
And yeah, exactly, that was insane, because like all of us we were vouching to, like, we're like, we have to get this guy back, we have to get this guy back, this. And then he never showed any restraint and all.
Mm-hmm.
So, and then he writes a lot of he writes his diary, okay, and he's been writing for 30 years. So there's like a huge stack of like his whole life, like the last 30 years have been like stacked.
That
And
is something amazing.
that is insane, and I think I'll probably start that from next year. So
Journaling.
I want, yeah, journaling for
You,
sure,
you
because
should do that. You should really
yeah,
do that.
yeah, because I like right now I just write what I'm gonna do today or what I've done yesterday and stuff like
Mm-hmm.
that. But like he, for 30 years, like almost his whole life has been documented. And then thing is, he writes in very, very small he in like ancient Telugu.
Mm-hmm.
And when he passed away, we were trying to read through his things, and then like we got to know a lot of things about him that we didn't know, because like these are like a lot of personal things, and he like kept them to himself. He never said them out loud, and which was actually an amazing thing, because a lot of people they want to share their feelings and all, right? But this
Mm-hmm.
guy, like he kept it to himself. So yeah, so what happened after he passed away, it was kind of like it was like a pillar gone from the family. And it like the house kind of broke down literally. Like we didn't understand the toll that it would put on us, even though he wasn't doing much in the last 1 or 2 years. But it
Mm-hmm.
was just his presence that made so much so much of an impact on us. And so like it was getting really stressful at home after May. And I think I gained about 10 or 15 kgs in that time,
Okay.
because my stress hormone was up. And I obviously couldn't work out much. And so I was around 80 kgs.
This was
And
during?
this was right after May.
Okay, right after me.
Yeah, like maybe about 15-20 days after that.
Lockdown had already begun.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
Lockdown was already there. It was since March, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, and so then like I didn't really have a proper closure of this guy, like of my grandfather going, because like he's been there since like the starting of my life. And this I think this was the first time somebody like really close to me has passed away.
Mm-hmm.
And so then I started like searching about death, like what happens after death, what is life, and kind of like kind of like a spiritual kind of seeking.
Mm-hmm.
So I really needed this. And I saw a couple of Sadhguru also had a really good video.
About
And
death.
yeah, about death.
Mm-hmm.
He actually he wrote a whole book about it. But
Did you read it?
yeah, I actually got the book, but I haven't read it yet.
Oh, so,
So
dude, you should
yeah,
definitely read it. You would like
yeah,
it.
yeah, I really should. So like he explains about Annamaya Kosha, Pranamaya Kosha, and like
Mm-hmm.
he explains about a lot of stuff, right? And then it kind of made sense. And like I was trying to relate this to, like, basically as a future medical practitioner, what am I
Mm-hmm.
going to do? What I'm doing, I'm trying to prevent death, right?
Yes.
So I should, like I felt like, okay, I should know about what life and what I should know about death. And so I was doing that kind of seeking and all. And so coming back to how the environment at home was, it was getting really, really stressful. Like my mom couldn't, like she couldn't bear it. And then like all my family and all, they were all like they were just getting crushed basically, and my emotions were all over the place. So so then what happened? I was like, okay, I need to go out, and you know, I just have to, I have to get back to myself, because like I was 80 kgs, I was feeling like shit. Okay, this wasn't even me, and I especially did not think, uh, just like 3 months away from college would, like, make such a big drastic change in me. So what happened? There was this building in Kotapet where
Okay.
my grandfather used to stay
Mm-hmm.
also, and like used to take care of the place. And then what happened? It was because of COVID. It used to be a hostel building, and then like everybody left
Mm-hmm.
because of COVID. So there was a empty flat, and I decided to go and
Mm-hmm.
stay there alone. And
Interesting.
yeah, so I was like, I need this, and then I threw a tantrum at home, and then finally they just let me go. And so I go here, and then like, there was nothing. There was just a couple of tables, a couple of chairs. Like there were stores nearby. I could easily get food and stuff. So I got my stuff, and then like, I stayed for a whole month, and I just started, like, doing kriya, like Isha kriya or Sudarshan kriya, and I did some meditation too. And I told you, right, I wake up in the morning pretty early, so I was doing that. And so yeah, I felt like, every day I do meditation or do kriya or something like that, my days were calmer, my days were more productive and all. Like at least I felt it after doing it for a couple of days. And then I was just like, okay, let's take this to the next level. And
Mm-hmm.
then I went there, and like I was there for a whole month. The whole first month, there was a gym right next to it too.
Mm-hmm.
So, and then I was learning about, I already know a bit about biochemistry from first year. And so I learned a little more about biochemistry. I understood how the physics of the body work, and how, like, like the different hormones actually
Mm-hmm.
work on the body and all. So this actually helped me. So I started doing a 20-hour fast, 20 hours, and
Okay.
4 hours. Yeah. So it was basically like intermittent fasting. And
But
but
that
on
that sounds pretty extreme.
Yeah, like I mean,
20
I
hours.
didn't straight up start on 20 hours. I started around 16/8, and then
Mm-hmm.
I went to 20 hours, 24.
That's still a
So
lot.
yeah, it is, and
24?
it
Did you
actually
just say 24?
20 and 4,
Okay.
20 hours of fasting and 4 hours of eating,
Mm-hmm.
basically.
Okay, okay.
Yeah. So there was a gym right next to it, and then I just joined it.
Mm-hmm.
And so like in the morning I would go, and like I would go like super early so that like nobody would be there. He would just like he would just sanitize the place. And so I worked out for almost 2 hours every day. So I would wake up early in the morning, then I'd go up onto the terrace. I would meditate and do kriya for maybe 1 hour, 2 hours. And I think it's this time that I actually learned, like, it was more like a self-learning experience.
Mm-hmm.
So I learned by just asking questions to myself and just thinking about it. Like it's not like it was a question. It was something you already know. It's like common sense, except, you know,
It's like
it
a
takes.
aha moment.
Yeah, exactly. It's
You
like,
already
okay,
know,
what is
but I don't know how
yeah,
to
then you
put it
can
in words, but then it's like
exactly,
the
then you have to
aha
experience
moment.
it. You have to
Exactly.
experience it.
Experience.
Yeah,
Experience it
exactly.
is.
Yeah, that's true. So then, like, I answered a lot of questions to myself, and then, like, maybe at around 6 o'clock when the sun rose, I would finally go to gym,
Mm-hmm.
and I would work out until maybe 8 or something, and then I'd come back and, like, make my food, and I just did the routine stuff. And yeah, that was basically my whole month. So
Mm-hmm.
I'd be meditating, I'd be doing kriya. And then this actually gave me a huge closure. And I think this actually put me in such a self-aware state where, I was developing. I could feel that I was developing. And like, so the first month it was basically me. And then the second month my grandmom came and she was there. So I
Mm-hmm.
kind of learned a lot from her too. Because even she, like, she was just, like her husband just passed away, right?
Yes.
And she also, like, I learned a lot from her, and like even she was expressing a lot of feelings, and like, I started learning about, people in general,
Mm-hmm.
and learned more about myself too. So this whole month, the second month was basically spending time with her. And then I think on October 1st I came back, and then I checked my weight and everything, and I was at like 12% body fat finally. So it was basically in 2 months I almost reduced like 10 kgs or something, again back. So, and plus I built muscle.
No, those pictures really show that.
Yeah,
I could
thanks.
see that. He's got abs also. By the way, whoever has not watched that video, he's got abs now.
No, no, no. Look at Suraj. He shows it every single day.
What can I say? You've got it.
Yeah, it's not wrong to, because it's hard work now. You might as well show it off.
True that. So, this working out, let's just talk a little bit more on that.
Mhm.
Did working out help you out with dealing with your grandfather's death?
Maybe not in a completely direct way, but it did help. Definitely, it helped.
Indirectly.
Yes, I think it's about turning the direction of energy and focusing it into something different.
Mm-hmm.
So like this was something this requires energy, right? Going to the gym requires energy. Waking up at 4 and waking up at 6 requires energy. And once it becomes a routine, it doesn't actually feel like it doesn't feel like a lot of work, but yeah, it definitely did. Like I channeled all that energy that I put into thinking about my grandfather, or thinking about his life, and thinking about did we do something wrong, etc., etc.,
Mm-hmm.
into channeling it into something more productive, especially like this, like
Something like
gym.
gym.
Yeah, and I was always focused on the final result, because I remember like 1.5 years ago, I was just like, okay, I'm going to get abs, I'm going to get abs, I'm going to get I'm going to get ripped and all. And it never just happened. Like I thought I was working pretty hard, but then I'm pretty sure I wasn't working smart, because like after I learned about the biochemistry of human, like how a person's body works and
Mm-hmm.
all, that's when it actually that's where it actually made the change. Like 2 months was all it took.
That's
And
all it.
yeah,
So, working out is all about the understanding of your body and understanding of
exactly.
what has to go inside your body to
That's
get
very true.
ideal ideal physique you want.
True, true. The thing is, everybody's body is different, and you have to understand. They have to
Exactly.
understand. They have to
What works
understand
for
how the
you
body
and what
works.
works for me.
Yeah, that's true. Because like if you look at you, you've always been skinny your whole life before you
Mm-hmm.
become ripped now, right? So you didn't really have to, you weren't focused on losing weight. You were focused on gaining weight and
Gaining weight.
gaining muscle. Your metabolism is different from mine,
True.
and like and from other people. So people, you have to understand. Everybody has to get an understanding of their own body, and then like they work towards that. And there's a different approach for everyone. So
I agree.
yeah,
So on the reel, you also mentioned that you donated 800 plus masks.
yeah.
What was that about? Talk to me about
So
that.
So that was actually during the starting of quarantine. Like,
Mm-hmm.
so it was actually cloth masks, and actually cloth masks don't really help much.
Mm-hmm.
But fine, I mean, I still did it.
Something is
So
better than nothing.
exactly. And what happened? One of our family friends, they had this, or they started this like small NGO kind of thing,
Mm-hmm.
and they were like, they were asking for if volunteers to help them out and donate masks and stuff. And so like I was like, okay, fine, why not? Like I was pretty I was pretty jobless, so I helped. And what kind of disappointed me is like after I did the masks and like after I put out the reel, so there was like there was four main components to that reel, right? The first one was the body percentage, second was
Mm-hmm.
the stock market, third was the
Masks.
masks, and fourth
Fourth
was the
was a
kriya, right?
Kriya. Yeah.
So there are like 50 comments on that, and like I got like a few 50 DMs and stuff like that. But
Uh-huh.
there wasn't a single person who asked me, okay, where did you donate the masks, or how did you donate the masks? And that kind of I felt like, okay, why? I mean, it's kind of sad, right? Like people ask me about like, how did you lose weight? Okay, can you help me out? Stock market, I'll give you money. Can you raise money for me? Or what kind of kriya did you do? But no one asked me like, hey, where can we donate masks? Or how can we help too in
I
this?
care.
Yeah, you're the first one to ask, actually.
I care.
That's very true. That's very true.
No, that's also because when COVID started, we also ran a small campaign through Make Me
Okay.
Garden
Oh, really?
for donation. I probably sent you the message too.
Oh, shit.
It's okay. I don't know. It's long ago. So in
Okay.
that we were also collecting money to give
Mm-hmm.
mask and food to people on
Mm-hmm.
the streets. So let's talk about the investing.
Okay.
Making 7 lakh profit. That's pretty good, man.
That was insane. Yeah, I know.
That's
I mean,
not that's not just pretty good. That's actually insane.
yeah. So I'll tell you a story. It's actually pretty funny how it started. So, you know Hema from Urban.
Yeah, him, Karthik.
Hem Karthik, yeah. So, shout out to him.
Hey, yo,
So,
him.
so what happened? He moved into my community,
Okay.
and
Yeah, I
so
heard.
yeah. So he called me down for table tennis one day. So
Mm-hmm.
and there's a table tennis downstairs. So we went and we were playing table tennis, and then we were just talking about general topics. And then suddenly he was talking about jobs or what he was doing and all. This was around March too. This was early
Mm-hmm.
lockdown, and he was just one of my friends is doing something in stocks and and he was like dividends and this and that, and I was like, okay, what is this? I mean, I know stock, I've heard about stocks, everybody has heard
Mm-hmm.
about stocks and all. So I was just talking about that, and then chumma, I just I went up. Once I went back home, I just asked my dad, like, okay, what is the stock market? How does it work and all? And he's like, okay, yeah, I mean, it's like this and that. And it's like, do you have an account or something? He's like, I don't know. Let me check and stuff. And apparently, when we were in America, he made an account for my mom 15 years
Okay.
ago. Okay,
Okay.
which he forgot about. My mom forgot about, and I think he put like $1,000 in it or something. And he just invested in like $1,000 in some companies, and
Mm-hmm.
then now he checked and it became 4,000 change, and it became
Nice.
the dividends piled up to around $700+. And
That's awesome.
yeah, exactly. So he's just like, oh damn. He then next day he just comes to me and then he's like, okay, we have this account, and he's like, I don't have time for this. If you want, learn and do whatever you want with this account. And he just gave it to me.
Mm-hmm.
And obviously I was jobless as much, and I was just like, shit, this is the chance. And I was like, why don't I learn something? Why don't I make my own money and stuff like that? So because as a medical student, I have a long way before I'm going to start earning. So I was just like, okay, I
Way
mean,
too
this could
long.
just be something. A very long time, yeah. And it was good timings too. Like my classes were from 9 to 4, and
Mm-hmm.
the pre-market for the American stock starts at around 3:30.
Okay.
So it was pretty good. Like I could I could analyze and then invest right after college was over.
So how much did
So
you start with?
that's what I started with. I had like $4,000 in the bank,
Mm-hmm.
in the stocks, and then I had $700 to whichever I could use.
Mm-hmm.
And so what I did, I first obviously I didn't know much. I didn't really. The thing was, the stock market crashed. This was like the lowest it could be.
Mm-hmm.
So everything was very low, and so $700 was actually adequate. Now it's not adequate because the stock market actually regained.
Mm-hmm.
And it was, I think I got very lucky because since it crashed and since it regained, I was able to earn this profit, or else I think it would be much less than whatever happened. So I kind of learned while it was going. I knew obviously that pharmaceuticals would be in a good position right now because everybody is about immunity. Everybody's thinking about immunity. Everybody's thinking about the COVID vaccine. And
Being healthy in general.
so I started off with investing. I invested mostly in penny stocks starting. Like if you watch Wolf of Wall Street, you'll
Yes.
probably understand how penny stocks are actually a trap, and they were kind of a trap because I lost quite a bit of money out of that.
How much?
And yeah, around 200 to 300. Like there were
God
penny
damn.
stocks are like, yeah. So I wasn't investing much. I was like I wanted to
Got
start
it.
small. Like
Penny stocks are usually very small amounts.
yeah, exactly. They were like around 0.5. They're probably less than $1 basically. So
Got
they were
it.
in pennies. And thing about what I realized was I started learning that pharmaceuticals, most of the small scale pharmaceuticals and all of these actually start off as penny stocks because they need a lot of research, and in research there are so many failures. And
Mm-hmm.
the only reason they come into this IPO stock market where they can take
Funding.
they can take funding from the public is because it only takes once good success to boost them, and they won't get funding from just normal private investors.
Got
So
it.
they have to go IPO if they want to become big. So all of these, their market cap was not much. It was like maybe 50 million and a
Mm-hmm.
maximum of 100 million. So I started investing in these, and there were so many, so I had to do my research, this, that, and then finally I started gaining some cash
Mm-hmm.
as it went. It took me about a month or so, and then I started gaining, and there was a couple of companies which actually boomed suddenly because of some
From the
drugs
penny
actually
stocks?
yeah, from the penny stocks, which went up by penny stocks. Let's say it was 20 cents,
Mm-hmm.
and I bought like 200, let's say,
Okay.
and then so that was maybe $50, and then it went to $1 suddenly. It just spiked, and then I sold it.
Okay.
So let's say it went to $1, then I just made 200. That's $150 profit, right?
Got it. Got it.
So I got a few like that, and then then I realized that stabilize, because then the stock market started fluctuating like hell. So I understood that I have to stabilize this income, and the only way you're gonna stabilize it is put it into bigger companies like Microsoft, Apple, and all. And Apple was way too expensive then, but now they actually divided the share, and now it's less.
Okay.
So like I put it in Microsoft. I had some in Cisco. I put it in. So I started diversifying. So I started watching YouTube videos like how investors work and all. And then I was learning by myself, plus watching YouTube videos. My dad kind of helped me in a little bit. And so overall, I started diversifying. Like I diversified into utilities, airlines. What is this?
Wait, airlines? How is the
airlines
airline
too.
thing doing?
American
Terrible?
Airlines, yeah, it was very bad. Now it's actually average. So, and then like airlines and petroleum go hand in hand. So
Petroleum has come up though.
yeah, petroleum has come up, and it was actually fluctuating in the middle. But yeah.
But I think that is something, even if it goes down, it's bound to come up. Because right now, we don't have any other source of fuel. So that is the main thing. It'll definitely come up.
Yeah. And another thing with energy stocks and utility stocks is they have good dividends. They give really good dividends because there's such a huge cash flow and there's always circulation of money. They like the dividends are pretty high. They give almost, let's say if it's a $50 stock, they might even give $1. That's almost like 2%. So that's pretty good for. So I realized actually now my main focus is actually to invest in dividend stocks. So yeah, dividend stocks I think are the most stable ones. If you want to keep a constant income going in stocks. So
that has worked for you.
Like yeah, that has worked for me. And what I also think is, it's fine to, make money on stocks, like, and, feel like you make money on stocks. But, it basically, when you look at it in one perspective, stocks is, you're just gambling on big people, like players. Let's say you're betting on an IPL match. That's basically what it is. You're just betting on Dhoni, you're just betting on, Virat Kohli or something like that. You're just betting on big, let's say I'm betting on AstraZeneca to come up with a vaccine. That's why I'm investing in them. And it's just a big betting game. And if you really want to dream big, like my dream maybe is to actually become one of those big players in the future. I mean, obviously it's a dream, but yeah.
So you put in four Gs.
Yeah, I had 4.5 kind of.
4.5. So how long did it take for you to reach until 11.8?
Yeah, at the moment, when I put the reel, it was 11.2. Now it's about 11.7, I think. So I earned 500. Yeah. So in the middle, the stock market started regaining really fast. So I think within a month or so, I made like $2,000 to $3,000. And it started going up really high because Trump was, he was giving incentives, and he was saying that he put out a stimulus check of some $1 trillion or something, and then everybody was just like, okay, cool, we got free money. And plus he was giving free money to everybody who had got lower than $20,000 a year or something like that.
Small businesses.
Yeah, he was giving us. He just threw out a stimulus fund basically.
Okay.
And like people who lost their jobs get free money, like around I think $1,200 per month or something.
Okay, yes, I've read about that.
Yeah. So what people are doing, since they were jobless too, like they were like, okay, fine, we got free money, why don't we just invest in the stock market? So there a lot of more private investors came in. So basically, smaller companies actually got a lot more funding, because even $1,200 isn't much, right? So people would mostly invest in penny stocks rather than investing in bigger companies. So yeah, that's how it works, I guess. It worked out for me at least.
So my question to you is, like, how long did it take for you to reach from 4.5 to 11.7, the duration?
So around March ending to April, May, June, July, August, September, October. It's around 6.5 months, 7.
6.5 months.
Yeah.
That's actually pretty good, man.
That is actually excellent. But now, like, it's going pretty slowly because, the stock market is actually a lot more stable. But I think this presidential elections is going to be a huge deal before the market. So I'm thinking of actually selling most of my stocks and getting the cash in so that I can, because I don't want to take a risk on the presidential elections. Because
You
Trump
scared
actually, I
post elections the stock might fall.
yeah, because Trump actually he favors a lot of the bigger businesses. Like
Yes.
he helps like Facebook, he helps like Microsoft, he helps like these people who are huge money and they put in a lot of money for the Republicans and Democrats. But I doubt, I don't know, I'm not pretty sure. Actually, no one knows. It's 50-50 at the moment, like Trump and Biden. And I don't know, Kanye West. Why is he here?
But who do you think is gonna win, Trump or Biden?
I have a feeling that Biden will win. It's funny because I'm actually kind of
Really?
voting for Trump. Yeah, I have a feeling
Why?
that Biden, because there is so much hate about Trump, because he openly criticizes people. Like even yesterday or day before, there was some last presidential
Presidential
elections.
debate.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, debate, and then he was just like India and China are like filthy, and they should concentrate on some.
You
So he
know
just
what?
randomly just
You
shouts
know
at
what?
people.
Actually, I've seen people. The Indian news channels just picked up a small line. I've seen the entire debate.
You have?
He
Okay,
had
I
a
haven't seen it
contact.
either.
He had a context to why he said that.
Okay, okay.
I've seen a person put up a story and some news channel is like Trump trashes India.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
He
That's true.
wasn't
See,
trashing
even
India. He was just comparing it with different countries.
yeah. So you see, even I got influenced by like some wrong information like that.
Mm-hmm.
So because I wasn't reading, I watched a bit of the presidential debate, but I didn't watch the whole thing. I watched the first one, which I thought was pretty funny. They were like kindergarteners, just like fighting. It's hella funny.
Trump is like a person who he has no filter. He has a thought
True.
in his mind. He's going to speak it out.
Yeah, and all his Twitter posts are at like 2 a.m. in the morning or 3 a.m. in the morning. Like how is his brain even functioning at that time?
I think that's
So
his social media group handling it.
yeah. Maybe actually. I don't know the details, but so Trump is actually pretty good for the stock market. He's a good businessman, and
He's a very
actually,
good businessman. I don't know.
honestly,
I don't know
yeah,
person wise, but he's a very good businessman.
yeah, he might be shit, but for the American economy, like let's say if this conspiracy is true that China actually made this virus and like to break the American economy, they basically failed because of Trump because he did not shut down. Maybe he lost a lot of American lives and all of that, but he actually kept
I
the economy
mean,
strong.
see, if you look at the numbers of the lives which are lost, I know it's a lot. But if you look at death in general, there are a lot more people dying of lot more reasons than just COVID alone. So,
Yeah.
the perspective is just the fear which is getting into people's mind.
Hmm.
Is that you cannot be shut down. You've got to deal
Yeah.
with this, adapt and grow.
Yeah.
I don't know.
And that's
I
what.
feel every political leader is getting trash for no reason. It's COVID. What can they do?
That's also true.
Like,
Yeah.
even if they did stupid shit, fine. They're dealing with it. Like, fine. How long are you going to trash these people for?
Yeah, that's true. Because it's not something like not even medical professionals know about the disease properly. So and there's a lot of hate going on at hospitals too, which I kind of found weird. It's like because like there are exorbitant fees for like one of my relatives had to pay like some 2 lakhs per day in
Dude,
upkeep.
I've heard it. It's so fucked up.
Yeah, and that actually you can't even blame the hospital because see, you know how insurance companies work, right? And like they know that they think at let's say 100,000 people pay them insurance. They're only expecting maybe 2,000 to 3,000 people to be in the hospital, and they're gonna just cover those 3,000 people. But like when a pandemic like this comes, obviously they're gonna run out of money. So they just said like we're not gonna insure anybody with whoever gets corona. So hospitals have to buy their PPE kits. Hospitals have to pay their doctors, and if their insurance companies aren't paying them, then they have to take the money from the people. And
I didn't know
so
that. I didn't know
yeah,
that.
yeah.
I was genuinely thinking that hospitals, looking at the supply and demand, hiked up the
Hmm.
prices.
Actually, a couple of hospitals did that. Like I think Virinchi and Deccan, they did that, and they got screwed by the Telangana government at least. So there were cases like they're not allowed to treat COVID patients anymore. Okay.
So if no, I've known Karan since 5 years.
Yeah, that's it.
This guy was always dedicated. And I can clearly see that this lockdown has helped you with that dedication towards the stock market. You really turned your life around. I can kind of say that you really turned your life around in the past 6 months.
Yeah, it was
You
a very
entered the stock market, made 7 lakhs of profit, worked out, dropped down to 12% of body fat, donated 800 fucking masks, and best of all, 200 hours of Kriya.
oh god, yeah.
That's insane, man.
That is insane. I mean, like, yeah, now that I think about it again, because there were people, like, I was not on social media for a very long time. Like, I was responding to maybe messages and all.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I post like once in 6 months. And like, some people were just asking me like, are you there? What are you doing? What's up? And all. And then I was just like, okay, fine. I will tell everybody once I'm done with this. And like, I finished, and then like, I was just like, okay, fine. The reels just came out, right? And I was like,
Mm-hmm.
okay, why don't I just try one?
I
I just,
absolutely loved the way you made the reel though. It was
yeah.
right on point. I really think, people whoever are watching this, I really think this would kind of get them motivated. Looking at your story, you just started out of the blue. You didn't
True.
plan, you just did it. You started
True.
out with working out, and then
Mm-hmm.
it led you to a better mental state, and
Mm-hmm.
also meditation helped you think better, see better, and do better.
Yeah.
So I really think this would really be a push for other people if they are thinking that you've got to have some planned shit out there to go
Mm.
achieve something. No, you can just start.
Yeah, exactly.
Along the way
That's
you
very true.
develop.
That's very true, yeah. Because once you start getting different ideas. You don't have to plan something. Maybe you can vision yourself at a point in life,
Mm-hmm.
but you'll definitely, you're gonna start going to different roads. You're gonna start like, seeing better opportunities. But just have to start. You just have to start working. And like whoever, at least past 6 months has just been, sitting there watching movies, or like, they really want to start, but they just couldn't. It's never too late. It's never too late to start. Just start now if you can. And that would be my message to whoever is like, watching maybe.
That's a beautiful ass message, man. That's a beautiful message. So, thank you so much, Karan, for coming on
Okay,
my podcast today.
cool.
And
Thank you so
anyone who
much.
wants to check out Karan, where can they find you, Karan?
I'm pretty active on my Instagram.
Mm-hmm.
That's about it. Like, Snapchat, like, is mostly for my personal friends, and Facebook, yeah, once in a while.
Okay, so I'll
So
drop
yeah,
those links in the description in case you want to
yeah,
go
sure.
check out his profile. You'll have them down
Cool,
there.
cool, cool.
Thank you so much
Sounds
once
good.
again, Karan, for coming on
No
my
problem, man.
podcast.
Thank you so much.